me bring on Crowder. Is Crowder there? Because Crowder, can only last a while until his meds run out, and then, he starts to break away. That's why you see the brick walls behind him. That's because it's harder for him to escape. Crowder, how you doing?
They used to be padded. Thank you for pointing that out. A couple of things. Yeah. I hate to fact check you, but I was in Montreal when that interview happened. It's like the French Canadian music
really?
And all those women were whores. So let's start. It was well known. That doesn't make anything that's acceptable at all. So please. I remember Found Glory went into a porta potty with a VJ. It's like what they call them here, but they were hosts there for Musique Plus, and they came out and everyone clapped because she had sex with a band in a porta potty. Like, it's kind of Montreal practice.
Really?
This was well known. Yeah. The real problem is he was married.
But when is the next train to Montreal? That's
they leave quite regularly.
Sounds like a great place. That's
right. It is the women. They're well known.
Really,
in
really.
Yes,
all right.
Absolutely.
Well, that's good. Then to hell with them.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
But you're right. You need to be a gentleman, and to me, what really bothers me about this, two things. John Mulaney is a pansy. No one kicked Harvey Weinstein's ass. A couple of things here. No one kicked his ass.
Brad Pitt at least pointed at him.
Yeah, exactly. He said, "Did you rape my girlfriend?" Yes. Oh, okay. And he walked away. And then he sells a workout plan in Men's Health while he gets a leg double for Troy. I just want to throw that guy off a cliff. So, okay, this happened. No one kicks Harvey Weinstein's ass. That really bothers me. I'll tell you this: if someone does that to my wife, it's going to get physical.
Yep.
It's one of the few instances where, like, do you believe in violence? If someone gropes my wife, yes, it's the only language a guy abusing his power understands. He has money. He can fight with lawyers. You kick his ass.
I'm with you 100%. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And even if it's a professional fighter who I know is going to kick my ass, I'm going to make him wish he picked someone else. That's it. Like, he's going to lose an eye, his teeth getting messed up, something. You know what I mean? At that point, it's the principle. You just have to say, this is going to hurt, and do it anyway. So that really bothers me. And then what really bothers me about Ben Affleck is, because I remember this clip. He came out and he was saying, I can't believe what Weinstein, what Harvey did, and this is really sickening, and we need to put more women in positions of power. But he did this while he knew that clip was out there. Like, did he think the internet doesn't exist? Did he think that YouTube wasn't a thing? It's like the kid who's caught when you have a group of friends and you all did something wrong and you're all like, okay, we're caught dead to rights. We're about to fess up. And I had a friend, his name was Josh, and he would just lie. And it was astounding. You were like, they know you're lying. He's like, well, listen, there's 6 of us and the odds are maybe I'll get out. So I'm just going to lie until the end of it. That was Ben Affleck.
I suspect when Affleck sobers up, he doesn't remember what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, I think every time I see him off film when he's not in a movie, he's smashed.
Yeah, he's smashed. And he was, remember the J-Lo, he didn't just cheat on Jennifer Lopez. He was performing sex acts in the strip club on the strip. Like, it's well known. I think that also happened in Montreal. It was just the most, like, the kind of stuff that if you were to see on an HBO show, you'd be like, all right, let's fast forward. This is a little seedy even for HBO. That was Ben Affleck's life. Him, his brother, Weinstein. These are the worst human beings on the planet. And anyone who has standards is a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. Everyone's a hypocrite. I get that. But it's really hard to be a hypocrite, first off, when you have no standards. And Hollywood has set the bar so low. We have open marriages. Who am I to judge? 100% divorce rate. 3-year-old wants to be trans? Fine. So to be a hypocrite when you have standards that low is a marvel, and they still manage to do it. And then they make a living off of being hypocrites. And I will tell you what, I'm not victim blaming, but Meryl Streep, Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina, every single person who didn't come out and simultaneously was thanking Weinstein in their award speeches, they acted as recruitment tools for Weinstein. And that bothers me.
It bothers me, too, when they start to call them heroes, like 20 years later. Oh, yeah, he groped me 20 years ago. What a hero you are to come out, now that you've got your career, now that you didn't risk anything. I mean, yeah.
Do you notice, too, not a single one of them is ever like, yeah, you know what? I'm trying to think of the show. I'm trying to think of the verbiage. I had to perform favors for Harvey Weinstein, but I got my Oscar, so bite me. Do you know that everyone comes out and they're like, but I didn't do it? Really? You've got 3 Oscars. You didn't do it. There wasn't something going on in a dark movie theater in Midtown. You didn't do anything. 20 years later, you stayed quiet. Sorry, I'm not buying it. I have a problem with people who come out. Again, if they just said, hey, listen, he groped me, and like Heather Graham said, he groped me, he came on to me in a hotel. He didn't actually grope me. He didn't rape me, but he re-invited me to his hotel, and I said, of course not. That's it. But someone who says he sexually assaulted me, and we go back to the tail of the tape. We're going, hold on a second. Here you are at the Golden Globes thanking him specifically during that time. There are girls watching you, Gwyneth Paltrow, saying, how do I become a Gwyneth Paltrow? And they're writing down the name Weinstein. So there is some culture.
Kate Beckinsale said she walked out and he couldn't remember whether he assaulted her. When the next time he met her, he said, "Did I try anything with you?" He didn't remember. But, I usually assault women. Did I forget in your case?
Yeah, exactly. So I think you're the rule rather than the exception. But if you come back, I'll make it right.
So now the other thing I have to ask you about. The only time I ever think about you is when I'm watching late night comedy, and each one of these guys not only looks like the guy next to him, but has the exact same opinion, the exact same set of, and they don't even tell jokes anymore. Does this make you crazy at all? I mean, you're a genuine professional comedian and actually funny.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And here's the thing: when people are like, "Oh, funny is subjective," but someone can say that, but they can't say that Owen Benjamin, who's here all week and who helps write, like they can't say he's not a comedian. He's one of the most, well-known headlining comedians across the country. He just happens to have recently come out of the closet as conservative. So we have a lot of talented people working here. I can't take credit for all the success, but it used to make me more crazy until I realized now that it's just this unbelievable opportunity, because other people were saying, "I don't watch late night. I watch Crowder instead." And so we said, you know what? We kind of realized this is the show that a lot of these people are going to bed with, because listen, you're brilliant, and Ben Shapiro is obviously he's the best in his vertical. If you want to learn kind of how to think and express these conservative ideas, Ben is so good, and this is what I do. So a lot of people they connected with it, and so now we see it as a big opportunity. Every time Jimmy Kimmel gets up and cries because a dentist shot a lion, I'm like, well, okay, that means we're going to gain 20,000 new subscribers.
Well, I think I told you when I went down to do a Mark Stein show, they brought me down from Canada because I wanted to hit some hookers on the way down. And I got to I did not know any of this about Montreal. I'm so excited now. But when I came down and I got to the place where they take your passport, I handed the guy my passport, and he said, "You're on the Crowder show." I thought, we need to build a wall on the Canadian border too, because if they're letting guys through after they knew I was on your show, they would still let me through. I think there's something wrong. It's
funny. We have a bit. It's a double-edged sword, right? Because you have people who want to kill you and try and find your house and try and dox you. So we have all that stuff. But Owen Benjamin has just been appearing on the show pretty frequently. We have rotating guests and kind of in this third chair. And we're actually doing this bit tonight. It's based on his last show, A Positive Heckler. And like the people who are fans of the show are really fans of this show. Yeah. But he says it's getting distracting where you tell a joke. The guy's like, "I love what you're doing. I really support you."
That's tough to work with. Loud and so you and I are actually two of the few conservatives who actually have worked in Hollywood. I mean, all conservatives talk about Hollywood, but you and I have actually worked in Hollywood. Is Hollywood dead? Is Hollywood finished?
You know what? That's an interesting question. I think there are some obstacles here that we didn't foresee, or certainly not to be as severe as they are. With there was this idea that now there are going to be no more gatekeepers because there's YouTube, there's Facebook, there's social media, and we can create this programming and get it out there. But now we're seeing that they are every bit as left, and they're every bit as bad in trying to set up girders to keep you from succeeding. So the difference is, they've already created the monster. The difference is, like, YouTube is going to be really hard to take down a channel of mine, with hundreds and hundreds of millions of views and over 1 million subscribers here by the end of the month. It looks bad. So they have to find ways to tweak the algorithm, and that's what you see with James O'Keefe. So I do think the entertainment industry is this race to the middle. Jimmy Fallon is lucky to get 2.5 million viewers. Yeah. Letterman, when he was losing to Leno, was getting 6 million. Carson was American Idol, 20, 30 million, depending on the night. So everyone's kind of racing to the middle where it's so fragmented. People can find what they want. But I think we see media and the entertainment industry kind of in its death throes here, reaching out to, they were late to the YouTube. They were late to Facebook. I will say this, even with Fox News. I have clips of me on Fox News that Fox News removed from my YouTube channel because they didn't think YouTube was a thing when I used to be.
Yeah.
And now they're desperately going, oh, where's the capital? The capital is the eyeballs, right? YouTube has yet to make the money, and they're going, we need to get some of this capital. And now Fox News is saying we need to be on YouTube, and now the Weinsteins are saying we need to be on YouTube. Plus, I can open my direct messages. There's some hot chicks there. So they're all trying to get in on new media, and they're working alongside basically three big companies. That's Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And if they get their feet in the door, media might have another lifespan in a different form, which I hope they don't. I'm doing my best to just drop the Moabs on them where I can. And I'm anticipating some return fire when we cross this 1 million subscriber mark, because we have been poking our finger in the chest of Jimmy Kimmel and Trevor Noah and Samantha Bee and Vox for so long. And like, this show is like Voldemort. They never mention the name, but at some point they're going to have to answer. And
yeah, you'll have more viewers than they have, basically.
They don't. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy to think. Do you have any idea how much money Vox has? It's insane. They have so much money, and they make such crap. Like, it is so easy to rebut. And I know Ben Shapiro's smarter than I am, but I'm pretty good in the realm of debate. And what I do is I just source things meticulously because Vox doesn't. And then I look at Samantha Bee, and her source is Vox. She's bringing up Vox. I'm like, hold on, I went back to the Vox story, but there's no source in that story. You're sourcing a non-source. This is media. This is the entertainment industry. Yeah. They have gotten by so long being so mediocre. And I do think, I hate to say this because you're just you're an unbelievably talented writer. And I've had the door closed in my face for being conservative. And I know it bothers you when other people come out and say like, well, I didn't get a job because I'm conservative. It's like, no, you had a typo in the very first phrase. That was kind of like, you need to work a little bit more. Same with Owen just got dropped by his agent for saying there are no 3-year-old trans children. That was so
he got dropped by his agent for that?
At CAA, yeah. And then this week, CAA is reeling because they were inviting the ladies to the Weinstein's hotel. Oh, I mean, some say it's providential, but I do hate it when conservatives just use it as an excuse saying, oh, it's because of my beliefs. But I've genuinely experienced that, and I do think that we're seeing now in the industry, you were not allowed to be. You mean to tell me there's no one on the right? Let's exclude myself because I know it would seem self-aggrandizing here, but there's no one on the right who would be willing or capable to do a better job than Larry Wilmore, Samantha Bee, or Jordan Klepper. Get out of here. No one believes that.
Yeah, absolutely. Steven Crowder, the Louder with Crowder show. I'm glad you could get parole and come on, and we'll bail you out next time.
Technically, it's furlough, but thank you.
All right, I'll see you later, pal. He is really funny when he goes on. He cracks me up. All right.